Hello and welcome to my VBA and Excel training channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create a button and create some VBA code that we can assign to that button and give it a little bit of life. And this is going to be pretty simplistic. This is a beginner's tutorial, as most of my videos are, and my target audience is essentially folks who are wanting to jump into the VBA world, maybe not sure where to start, and this could be just a little bit of piece of that foundation. So let's get started. Up top we have a toolbar, and this is forms, so you want to make sure if you right click that the forms is checked. We're going to select this button and then left click and hold and then drag it to create the actual button. It's going to ask us to assign a macro. If you have a macro to assign it to, then go ahead, and I'm going to cancel that for right now because we're going to jump over to VBA and create that code. To get to VBA, you want to hit Alt F11 on your keyboard. So it's just a shortcut, and I've already typed up the code just for the sake of time. So let's take a look at this first one. This is a sub, and I've given it the name of message box comp username, and then closed parentheses. So that name can be anything you want it to be, just no spaces and the closed parentheses. Below that is the VBA code that you're telling it what to do. In this case, I have a message box, and you can see it's listed 3 times. So in this case, I'm going to the macro is going to populate 3 message boxes based on the criteria that I've put in. One of those being the computer username, time, and date. So let's switch back to Excel. Now that we have our code established, right click on the button, assign macro. Here's the name of the macro that we were looking at. Click OK. Now our button is activated, so as soon as we left click on it, there's our message box. That would be the computer name. There's the time, and there's the date. So that completes that module, or that macro, assigned to that button. So if we want to do something else, we have another sub that we can assign to it. Similar criteria, but give you a different twist in terms of maybe what that button can initiate. So I've named it, it's something different so I can differentiate between the two, and you can't have 2 names that are the same anyway. And in this case I have just a variable, or some sort of object name that I've created. Just called it user ID. You can call that anything you want, and I'm saying that equals, and this is the code for the computer name. And then at that point it's going to look at the active cell, or whatever cell is selected on the Excel sheet, and looking at the offset from that cell. So in other words, here's the row and here's the column. So it's going to go over or down 0 rows, and then columns, it's going to go over 1 column, and then I would expect it to input the user ID. Same case for here, active cell, offset, it's going to go down 0 rows, but it's going to go over 2 columns, and then it's going to enter the time. Now if we had 1 there, it would just override the user ID. Obviously we don't want that to happen. We want to continue the data going out columns or down rows. So let's hop back over to Excel. I'm going to right click on the button, assign macro, just as we did before. In this case I'm going to select the other macro, hit OK. The button now has a new macro attached to it, and if you recall, it said active cell, right? And based on the offset, look, it's going to go over 1 column and then over 2 columns to enter the data elements. Switching back to Excel, here's our active cell. Wherever I put that, that's where the macro is going to look at and then enter the data. So give it a quick test. There's the computer name, there's the time. Activate this cell, it's going to put it in the next two columns right next to it. Come up here, doesn't matter where I put it, it's going to assign that data to it with the next two columns. So of course, if we wanted to go and change the columns, we could do that. We could make that a 2, we could make that a 3, and then we'll change the rows. We'll go down 1 row and then down 2 rows. And then just for fun, we'll just go back over to Excel, get rid of all that so it's a little bit cleaner for you. Now my active cell, it's entering the data as we indicated in the coordinates associated with the VBA code. So that's essentially what I wanted to walk through with you today. Again, short video, but it's pretty simplistic. And comment down below if you want to see something different, some additional code maybe assigned to that button, a little bit of a twist there, whatever you want to see, let me know. Just keep in mind that VBA is going to take a lot of time and patience. You're going to want to take baby steps, and that's what I try to accomplish in my videos. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.